Hello everyone, how are you? This is Pedz, and today I'm joined with Kerr9000.
Yeah. It's Kerr9000.
This is Kerr's very first Twitchcast. Kerr has taken part in the traditional GRcade podcast, which was at the time run by Carl. So it's nice to see you on here, dude.
Thanks, it's nice to be on here.
Yeah, Kerr is usually busy with work and stuff early, so he goes to bed fairly early, which is why you haven't taken part in the longer ones. But as this is an hour long, and also on a Saturday, you were able to manage your time so we could fit you in. Well, you could fit us in.
Yeah, it's nice to be on.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. So, the chat today is, this is another Twitchcast Mini, so the chat is going to last roughly an hour. But today we were going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch. This was, again, Doom's suggestion because he suggested it due to... because Doom was meant to be here, but he's having trouble getting his baby to sleep.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, same here 4 times. So.
Oh, I need it once for me.
My youngest then actually is 8. My oldest is 14, and they still don't listen when it comes to bedtime. They are nightmares, man. I can hear them now, right above me. So yeah, the reason I want to talk about the Switch, the Nintendo Twitch, the Nintendo Switch was because they are bringing out a new model, and people seem to be unhappy.
Definitely.
I'm unhappy in some ways, but I'm also not bothered in others. Basically, people were expecting the Nintendo Switch Pro or the Super Switch or whatever you want to call it. But what has been announced is the Switch OLED edition or OLED edition. Basically, the screen is 7 inches instead of 6.5.
Yeah. And
it obviously has a better screen. But there is nothing extra. There's no better battery. There is no beefed up processor or anything. It is just a Switch with a new screen that is slightly bigger. That's it. For me, I've always said if there was a Switch Pro, I would get one because I play my Switch docked only. So
I'm the opposite.
See, so this then would this be interesting for you then, having a better screen? Always, because I've never had a problem with the screen. When I have played Mario Maker to make my levels, I've used the touch screen. I've never had issues with it. It's been perfectly fine. There's no issues. I don't know why an OLED screen would make a lot of people upgrade. What about you?
I don't really. No, I don't really. I've never once looked at the screen and thought this isn't good enough. It's a nice screen, a good image. All they seem to have done is change to the OLED, and basically the size increase is they've got rid of the bevel. There's no surround. The whole area is the screen.
Yeah, it's also a more expensive price point. I don't know how much it is in dollars, but in pounds, I believe it's £309 or £319, something like that.
Yeah, so, that's what I'd found.
It's not really worth it, in my opinion. I think I think I saw by November it will be replacing the Switch proper.
Yeah,
I believe, and will be at the same price point.
I'd imagine so. That sounds about right.
If that's the case, then if I was to upgrade, I would... Well, I say upgrade. I guess you are upgrading the screen. If I was to upgrade, then I would upgrade after it's gone cheaper. But as you said, the screen, you've never looked at the screen and thought, this screen isn't good enough.
I mean, OLED screens have their own problems. They're more prone to burning.
They are. I have an OLED TV. Luckily enough, it doesn't have any burning, but it is a beautiful TV. Like I had a 4K HDR TV, and it broke.
Yeah.
So then we got an OLED TV, and like the missus, when we had the other 4K HDR TV, she was like, I can't see any difference. And then when we got the OLED one, she's like, okay, with this one, I can see the difference. So it does make a difference, but that's with 4K and HDR. The Switch screen isn't going to have any extra, like, it will look nicer, but it won't be a massive improvement over, like, I don't know, if HDR was added to the Switch or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 720p, the Switch undocked in it, so it's...
Yeah, someone was saying it, like, pixel density is really high on the size screen. It's like, you know, really good. It's like having a 4K 24-inch monitor. But, it just seems like a minimal upgrade, and I don't see any worth in it. Like maybe, I think some of the hardcore might get it, but generally speaking, I don't think people will. Sorry.
If you broke your Switch, if you broke your Switch and you were going to replace it, I'd pay the extra money, because the slightly bigger screen, apparently, instead of having 32 gigabytes of inbuilt memory, it's going to have 64. There's a LAN port. There's a few tiny little...
Yeah,
it's like one of those... If there's 30 quid in it, why not have the best thing you can get? So if it was £100 more, you go, no, not worth it.
Yeah, I think for someone who's brought a Switch, always buy in a Switch now, go for the better Switch. Yeah. Personally, 64 gigabytes space is still nowhere near enough. Like, some of the games, like, take up so much space now. Even on the Switch, there's, like, games that take up more space than 64 gigabytes, so you have to buy an SD card anyway.
Yeah.
It just seems a little bit... I don't know, a little bit, I wouldn't say it's disappointing, because at the end of the day, I wasn't planning on upgrading my Switch unless there was like a massive upgrade or Switch 2 or something. But
yeah,
it just seems a little underwhelming then. I'm very underwhelmed.
He said that he's never used his Switch undocked because he's heavy-handed and he's scared to break it.
See, the thing is there's people discussing on GRcade, like I'm in the camp of, I find the Switch undocked, handheld, very uncomfortable to play. It also feels very flimsy where the Joy-Cons are. So I can understand the reluctance to want to play in handheld, because it does feel like it'll snap easily. Like, I know a lot of people weren't a fan of the Wii U gamepad, but that felt so much more sturdy. Yeah. And it felt like it would not break easily. Whereas to me, the Switch, it feels too thin, too flimsy. And if I don't know, say if my dog walked past and farted next to it, it would explode into 3 pieces. I say 3 because the Joy-Cons will explode off. I was going to say million pieces, but that's just silly.
It's the Joy-Cons to me that come across as the bit that feels weak.
Yeah, it's just the connection, like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a weird position. I own 1.5 Switches. I know that sounds weird, but I got a Switch. My missus got a Switch. My daughter got a Switch. And I went to this pawn store, and they've got a Switch with, not that kind, with the wrong... It was the middle of the Switch and the Joy-Cons and a charger, but no dock, no anything. And the Joy-Cons had a little bit of drift on them, so they were asking £120 for it. So I thought, I'm going to buy this and stick it in a cupboard, because if I drop mine, or my missus drops hers, or my daughter drops hers, you're not looking 280 or pay someone to mess with it. You just take the middle out of this. But then my missus decided she'd buy better Joy-Cons for it and start another Animal Crossing island on it, so she can trade stuff between herself. So I brought the machine, she brought the nice Joy-Cons, so I think we own half of that one each. But that's the backup one.
That's brilliant. Oh, I'll buy this as a backup Switch. No, you won't. I'm going to use it for Animal Crossing. Thank you. No, that's fair enough.
If you took the playtime of Animal Crossing on both Switches that she's done, it is astronomical. It equals the playtime of about 100 games I've done. But it makes her happy, and it's one of the presents I've brought her that she's liked the most. And she's a wonderful lady, so I won't moan too much.
Coming in, say the buttons are too small also. I would agree with that. I'm a massive fan of the Pro Controller, but I find the Joy-Cons uncomfortable. I much preferred the Wii remote.
Yeah, I know Orange Raccoon said this as well, but I don't like the lack of a D-pad. Those up and down little... No, D-pad, please.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think buying a dock is a good idea though. Like, if you haven't got extra Switch, if you don't buy an extra Switch, say, but you get an extra dock, it means you can set up the dock in another room. So if you're like playing downstairs and you want to go up and lie down upstairs, you can connect just slip your Switch into a dock, and then you've got an extra dock on the go. How someone 2 Switch docks and no Switches though is odd.
Probably broke the Switch, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, let's play on this. Oh, it snapped.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing, and this is going a bit off tangent on Switches now, but if you go online, people have got this crazy thing about breaking everything down. If they've got like a copy of Sonic for the Mega Drive, they don't want to sell the copy. They want to sell the front cover, the plastic case, the cart, the manual, all separate. People just think if they rip things apart, you can... like bit and dart, and it's awful as a retro collector. And
I collect retro games.
Stuff.
You're an Everdrive.
Yeah. I've got 2 Everdrives for the Mega Drive, and then I've got one of them like Chinese knockoff ones for the SNES.
I've got the FX Pack Pro for the SNES. It is awesome. It used to be called SD to SNES.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've got about 250 SNES carts, so I felt a bit bad paying too much for like Everdrive-y thing, so I just got a 50 quid one.
Yeah. There's one that's for the Mega Drive that's meant to be really good. I can't remember what it's called, but it plays Mega CD games straight from the cart.
Yeah. I
want it. It's supposed to be like 200 quid or something stupid though, so... The good thing is though, with the Everdrive for the Mega Drive, you can play Master System games straight from the cart.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. No need to get your Master System games out and an extra bloody thing to make it work. You just put your Master System games and go.
I've got that weird old power-based converter for the Mega Drive. I've got one still in the box. And it's huge. And you're thinking all it is a weird, like, pass-through thing. There's nothing much to it.
Hori...
They have to make it a big mushroom.
Yeah. It's mad how some plugs are, where they, like, gigantic, bloody, weird things. Commodane said, Hori make left Joy-Cons with a proper D-pad. I think it misses out on some of the like HD rumble and that, but if you want a proper D-pad, there's that. And Hori also make Joy-Con shaped like standard controllers. I haven't seen that.
I had a Hori PS4 pad, and that was quite good, to be honest. So,
was it Hori that? No, I don't know. The Tekken Wii U pad, not Tekken, Pokken.
It could be, yeah.
I had one, it's a Pikachu one, it's yellow, it's nice. I used to use it for emulation for whatchamacallit, for like SNES games and stuff, and it was really nice for it, but no, I just play my stuff directly from the consoles. I love the power-based converter. The Mega Drive 2 version was more like a regular cart.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller.
I don't know if I had one, to be honest.
I never had one till years after the Mega Drive was out of fashion. I went on a car boot and saw a boxed one, and it was daft. It was like a £5 or something. I never saw them in shops or anything when it was a actual thing, though.
And you see it online now for about £6,000. Yeah. Rare as hell now, the Mega Drive 2 version. There's a Mega Drive 3, isn't there?
Yeah, tiny little thing.
No
Mega CD or 32X with that, though.
Yeah, I heard the best Mega Drive to get is the original one. It says high definition graphics underneath or something on top, and that's supposed to be the one for the best sound. I think it's meant to have the best sound. Mine doesn't say that.
Yeah, I've got one of them, but I've got about 7 Mega Drives.
I've only got 2.
So.
I got one
a
upstairs.
Japanese one.
All right.
My childhood one, 2 boxed ones. One I've converted to run 60 Hz but be in English language. And then like spares, I just hoarded, I suppose.
I've only got 2. The one I had when I was a kid is in the attic, and the other one I got off eBay not too long ago, and it's got a switch on the back to change the region between PAL, US, and Japan. And it's also got another switch on it that puts it into 70 Hertz. It overclocks about 10 Hertz, so it removes slowdown on certain games and stuff. Like Sonic, if you get hit and you got loads of rings, it slows down, but if you got that, it eliminates it.
Oh, cool.
It is pretty cool. There was a Master System converter for Game Gear too. That must have been awkward, because you'd have there's like bloody big things sticking out the top, wouldn't it? Or does it go behind?
It's behind the machine, sort of at the top, I think. And it's massive when the game's in it. It's,
yeah. I bet. Game Gear was as big as the Xbox anyway.
It's chunky, yeah.
Yeah. This was supposed to be about the Switch, and now we're talking about the Game Gear. Then again, you could make a fair comparison. They're both handheld consoles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But there's no Space Harrier on the Switch, so... It might be on a Sega Mega Drive collection or something.
I've got that, but I can't picture what's on it and not on it.
I think Space Harrier... I don't know. Some shipping crates of brand new Mega Drives turned up in a warehouse in Thailand, I think, about 10 years back.
Wowzers.
How the hell did that happen? I'll see what Commodore says now. So, the thing is, with the Switch, we'll go back to the Switch now, as I remember that. The good thing, I guess, is for people who... For people who enjoy playing the Switch handheld, if they have to get a new Switch for some reason, or if people are buying into it now, with the OLED screen, I suppose the benefit is outside. It should, in theory, be easier to see the screen than what the normal Switch is. I don't think it's particularly bad from what I've heard, but I do believe an OLED is going to be brighter, so it may help with the sunlight. Though my OLED's a bitch. When that sun comes through the window, I can't see shit if it's dark. I have to close my curtains. And I got a nice one.
I've tried to play the Switch in the garden before, and it didn't go as well as I'd hoped.
Yeah.
So whether the OLED would be better is...
Yeah, it should be in theory. But you basically had the experience of playing not like as if you were playing the original Game Boy Advance. I can't see anything! It's strange,
I can't believe
though.
I completed Castlevania on that. Because that game is the darkest game.
Couldn't see shit, like.
No, I was killing things and I didn't know what they were. Just keep hammering the button, you'll be alright.
That's the thing, though. You would expect Nintendo to have released a backlit screen earlier than they did. Like, I'm pretty sure Game Gear was backlit and in color, and it took Nintendo to the GBA SP to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, Nintendo, we love you, but you need to treat us right.
Yeah, they can be really backward in some of this stuff. Some of the online things, and they just seem to think they know best, and they're not gonna... I mean, they've not really listened to what people wanted with a premium version of the Switch. They've just gone, this is what you want, you'll have it. Boom.
We want a Switch Pro. We want, like, much more tech in it. No, you'll just get a new screen. No! Sometimes you just gotta take it on the chin, I guess. Because, Nintendo are gonna do what Nintendo are gonna do. Simple as. Like if you look at what they've done with like Switch Online, I was listening back to the Switch Online chat that recently went up on the GRcade TikTok channel, courtesy of Kerr editing it down into 3-minute chunks and me uploading it up to it. I listened to it, and it's like listening back to it, I'm like, I still agree with my opinion of what I said at the time. The games that were already out as were free for people to play should have stayed free for people to play online. Because at the end of the day, as I said then, and I'm saying now, the people who had the Switch already and were playing their games online that were already online now have to pay an extra fee. I think games that came out after the fee was introduced, perfectly fine. Not perfectly fine, but perfectly fine in that respect. Games that people have been playing and then have half the content locked out unless they pay extra after it was already free seems really shitty. And I stick by that opinion.
Because you've paid a set price, and you've paid for that online and offline experience, and then they've took half the product away from you.
Yeah, exactly. They should have either been paid for at the start, or the things that came out before the payment plan crap was introduced should have been...
Sony did it right, didn't they?
Yes.
PS3 was free.
Yeah, PS4...
it's going to be paid for.
I think Sony had the best idea on PS3. It was free online, and then people who wanted PlayStation Plus paid for PlayStation Plus, and I liked that because it meant that everyone could play their games online, and you're not cutting the community in half. But the people who wanted to pay for a premium service got a premium service, and I wish the companies kind of stuck to that. Like if Sony was still doing it now, it'd be great because everyone will be able to play online. It's just people like me would probably still be getting the games because I won the extra games, even if I can't play them all because there's too many games. No, between Xbox Live,
I used to pay
Gold, you know, it's just that's too much.
I used to pay for Xbox Gold and PS Plus, and I just realised I wasn't using the PS4 as much as the Xbox, and I thought, you're putting down all this money year on year, cut some of it. Yeah,
I can understand that completely, but I'm a sucker. I'm paying for Plus, Game Pass Ultimate, Humble Bundle, a couple of other things. Just like, I need my games. Yeah, exactly. Dark Souls on PlayStation 4, to get the full experience, you had to pay for PS Plus. That game, I don't reckon you should have had to pay for PS Plus 4 anyway, because the online was the occasional invasion and tips when you're walking through the levels. You know, that kind of thing, and also summoning. It seems rubbish that such a small online thing you had to pay 40 quid a year for, 50 quid a year for, whatever it is on there now.
Just tiny background stuff, wasn't it? It wasn't good enough to really warrant a fee.
Exactly. It's not like, I don't know, say FIFA then, where most people will spend a lot of time playing online. I don't play FIFA, but the DLC had an arena. Yeah, but before the DLC, there was no arena, so my point still stands. Yeah.
I'll buy a FIFA about once every 4 years, and it'll be a FIFA from 2 years ago that's £3. That's how much football games I want to play.
Yeah, I only have played FIFA fairly recently because my oldest plays FIFA and he wanted to play FIFA with me, so I was like, alright, go.
I played a lot of Minecraft with my daughter when she was growing up because, Dad, will you do this? Dad, well, let's build this, Dad. And it's a nice way to bond, isn't it? So.
Exactly, yeah. My kids are like, oh, let's play some Fortnite, let's play some of this, let's play some of that. We played Streets of Rage the other day. No, not Streets of Rage, Castle Crashers we were playing, sorry. There was 4 of us, me and 3 of the children were playing Castle Crashers, and it was really good fun.
I mean, that's a great game.
It is a great game. I finished it on the Xbox 360 back in the day, but I didn't go through on hard mode, which I wish I had now.
They were another company. They did an awesome thing. When they brought out the remastered version for the Xbox One, if you'd brought the original version, you could have the remastered for free.
Yeah.
I think you have to claim it within so long, but...
Yeah, that's what they should be doing. I think some companies are doing it now, where they putting things across. But... some people are still charging like full price for a new version of the game with slightly beefed up graphics or something.
Yeah. It's reminding me of something else I want to comment about Sony about. When they had the PS3, I think it was, and the Vita at the same time, they were great in that they had that thing where if you brought a game that was on both of them, a lot of the time you got both versions for one price. Whereas Nintendo was, you've spent $350 on this NES game for your Wii. If you want to play it on your 2DS, 3DS, whatever, let's have another £3.50, please. And you're like, well, that's a NES game. Sony were charging like $3.99 for PS1 games.
And you get on both. It's definitely... It was definitely a good thing. I don't think Sony are doing that right now. Actually, I don't know, because like some cross-platform things are. Like, I obviously don't mean Vita because the Vita's dead. But like the Kenner Bridge of Spirits or whatever it's called, I've pre-ordered that and it was 30-odd quid and it's on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And that was £39, I think it was, and that was the digital deluxe edition, and it was $39.99. So while cross-generation is like, I don't want to be cross-gen because I want to utilise the full power of the console, it's also keeping the costs down of the games I want, so cross-gen can stay for a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree with what Cumberland said. It's high time Nintendo had unified accounts.
Definitely. I mean, I love the fact I'm still on my original Xbox account, and stuff that I brought back when I got the original Xbox, like Geometry Wars, I can still download and claim and use. Yeah.
The only issue is obviously some digital stuff, if it becomes an issue with licensing now, sometimes you can lose access to downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I've had my Xbox and PlayStation account across a few different systems. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox 360. I didn't get the original Xbox 360s, Xbox Ones, Xbox Series X. You know how it is.
I mean, sometimes if there's a game and I look at it and it's some little indie game and it's like on Switch and Xbox One, I'll end up buying the Xbox version just because I think with the way Microsoft run their ship, I'm going to keep having that game on every console I've got. Whereas if I buy it on the Switch, probably when the Switch 2 or whatever they want to come out is, I won't have any access to it anymore, so I'll have brought it for one console only.
Yeah. No, I can understand that logic. I know a lot of people like to buy them on the Switch because they play them on the handheld side of it and they feel like it fits in more. For me, I tend to buy my games on PC first. But otherwise, it'll just depend on if I see something, I'll be like, ooh, and it's on offer, I'll be like, I'll just grab that. But it's because of Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now and whatever else, I'm finding it harder and harder to want to spend money on games. Because it's like, I'm going to get access to many games. If I buy games as well, I'm going to have even less time to play the games I'm paying my services for. So I rather just... knowing my luck, which like this like I bought The Tourist on the Switch because I thought, that's on offer, I'll buy that. It was £10 or something, and then the next day it was like, this is on coming to Game Pass, and I was like, fuck's sake.
It's like I've seen people complain that games leave Game Pass, but to me, a lot of the time I'll play a game on Game Pass, and you never really like it. I keep looking for it second-hand in stores. Because it can be a 40 quid game drops to Game Pass, and by the time it's like coming off the service and you see it, you can pick it up for like £10 or £5. So it saves you money in the long run, but you can still get it.
Coming in said, I was going to buy the phone Xperia Play years ago, but didn't have his own knockoff PlayStation store called PlayStation Experience or something. So I guess the games didn't cross over there. That's a bit shit. That's the case, like, but... Sony
I
gonna
remember
Sony.
having a Sony phone, and you could like check your account on your PlayStation and buy stuff through it and things. But I think it was more just letting you do stuff for your PlayStation on your phone, if you know what I mean. A bit like you can do with Microsoft stuff now. Yeah,
you can do it on your PlayStation with phones now if you get the PlayStation app.
Yeah, but this was like a built-in, you know.
Yeah. It was Sony, so they crossed over quite well. And obviously, it was a bit ahead then, weren't it? Because I don't think Microsoft did that with their phones. Because there was Windows phones, weren't there? Which you could get achievements on that on.
Them as well.
My missus had one, I didn't. And she really enjoyed it. And I think she actually preferred that to Android. She's had Android ever since, and she actually said, I prefer that.
You get stuck, don't you, in an operating system? I mean, I'm on Android phones all the time now, and my missus is on a Apple iPhone. I pick her phone up, and I've got no clue what I'm doing. If she says, just do this, do that, it's like alien technology to me.
See, I wouldn't get an
she's
Apple phone. Not because... I don't like the iPhone. The iPhone looks nice. The new one, I was actually saying this is myself, like, it looks nice. I wouldn't mind having one. But the reason why I like Android is you don't have to stick with the same company to have access to all your things. If you decide, like right now, I've got a Samsung phone. The phone before this I had was a Huawei P20 Pro. But I still got access to all the same stuff because it's through Android. Whereas with an iPhone, if I want to keep my iPhone stuff, I'm going to have to upgrade to another iPhone. So my feelings on it is I can have all my Google Play stuff across all my platforms. All my phones.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's the reason why I like them. It's not like I play a lot, and I play Pokemon Go on it mostly, and that's sitting in my chair in my living room, occasionally catching a Pokemon because I don't really go out with it. Pokemon Go sit on your ass, it should be called for me. This was a gaming phone with PlayStation 1 games. I had an N-Gage. Speaking of gaming phones, I had an N-Gage when I was younger. I didn't want it. I wanted a different phone. It was like it was same shape and stuff, but it was blue, and it was for music. You put MP3s and that on it, and I ended up going with the N-Gage because you could do exactly the same thing with it. But I couldn't get the other phone when I went to the shop to have a look, like, so I ended up having it, and I hate the way you had to hold it. So basically, with a phone, you hold it flat to your ear. You hold it flat to your ear. With the N-Gage, you had to hold it at the side. So, like, if you pick up your phone now, turn it 45 degrees, and then hold your phone next to you, and that's how you would hold it. So it's like you got a big, giant phone-shaped ear.
Yeah, I've seen some memes of it and stuff, and people saying it's a taco and stuff, and it's weird.
It is, but I did like the other one that looked very similar, but was smaller, and it was blue, and it was just for MP3s and stuff like that. I didn't have any games in there on it. Well, it had Snake, probably Snake 2. I tell you what, right? I was playing Layers of Fear. It was a couple of years back now, maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I played through whenever it came out. Blair Witch, the video game. I played it on the Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
I played it on the PC. I did, but in that it's set after the film, which I've never watched. But it was set after the film. So one of the things you do is you can whip out your phone. It had fucking Snake on it, man. I was so excited to see that. I was like, oh, Snake, and I had a quick game of it. I thought I'd better carry on with the actual game because I'm streaming and people might be like, dude, we don't want to watch you play Snake. But it was
I watched the original Blair Witch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went camping, like the day after.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
I was the only one there going, oh, a twig, oh. And nobody else understood why. And then they all watched it, and they were like, if we'd have watched it, we would have never gone camping the following day.
I haven't seen the film. So, like when I played the game, like, I did a review for the game. And the first thing I said is, first off, I haven't seen the film, so like I don't know how this plays out in comparison to the film. So for people who are fans of the film, they may not enjoy the game as much as me who didn't see the film. RPG exclusive to the system on the N-Gage. Yeah, it was meant to have a good Sonic game on here, wasn't it? Sonic the Hedgehog, I think it was called. I think it was like a weird version of one of the games or something. I'm sure of it. Cumberdine should know because he's a massive Sonic fan. Well, the Master System games anyway.
I've seen N-Gage games for sale before, but I've never actually seen the machine in a long, long time.
I haven't even looked. I haven't looked at all because I don't want to bring back the nightmares of holding my phone like a fucking weird thing to my head. Phones. We were supposed to be talking about the Switch, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. I think we talked about it for like 5 minutes and then talked about loads of... They had a good port of PS1 Tomb Raider. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing a Tomb Raider on it.
The thing for me is with N-Gage is I didn't really have a lot of games for it. I don't remember getting... No, I didn't have many games on it because I had it new and then my house got broken into and it was stolen. So there you go. That was stolen. My other phone was stolen. And a load of money was stolen. So... It was a good birthday. I think I was like 19th birthday, I think it was. Like the day after all my stuff was nicked.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It was great. Someone broke into my fucking house.
I know a weird handout I have got, which is strange. Do you remember the Gamecom?
Yes.
I've got that. I got it off a car boot for something daft like 50p with 2 games in it because it has 2 cartridge slots. And then I've only ever got one other game for it that I got for £1 off another car boot. Never see them, never see out for them. It's
is that one of your rarest? Really, but... Is that one of your rarest pieces? One of your rarest consoles?
Possibly. I've got weird stuff. I've got an Odyssey 2, or well, over here it was called a Philips G7000. And you don't see... I've got that boxed and you don't see them a lot.
So basically, when you collect stuff, you don't collect for a specific thing, then you just collect for, like, what you can.
I go out there and anything I see that I think is bizarre or weird or particularly cheap, I will get.
That's fair enough. It's a good way of doing it. It's like I was talking to people about collecting, and as I've said, I wouldn't want to collect games. It was actually the last Twitchcast Mini, talking about 3DS and the prices and collecting and that with that. And I was like, I don't want to start collecting for a console to then get what I want and then start branching out into the rest of the games and turning around and being like, well, I don't want to buy this really rubbish game for £6,000. It's just,
but people try and do full console collections, don't they? And then you buy in 24 games that are utter trash that are worth thousands of pounds. And now I'd rather move on to another console and get a pile of good games for, 50 quid.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's completely understandable. Second model was better, but it was dead on arrival. That's about the N-Gage.
Yeah, you didn't have to remove the battery to put cartridges in it.
Yeah, that's a bit of a, stupid thing to have to do in a. Right,
on a phone.
Yeah, on your phone. Right, I'll have to disconnect my battery. Oh no, someone just tried to phone me and my phone was off. I lost my job. Oh no, this really important phone call that if I take it and answer some questions, I'll get promoted. Oh, I missed it because I was trying to put a new game in my phone. I've now been demoted instead. I was coming in says I'm considering going for a complete OG Xbox collection, but I don't know where I'd put them all. In your pants. I didn't think there was too many games on the original Xbox, because it came out later than both the GameCube and the PlayStation 2. But also the 360 came out before the PlayStation 3 and the Wii. So I thought it was a smaller collection.
I think if you count games from every region, like, the American, the English, the Japanese, there is about 1,000.
Yeah? Wow.
I think so, yeah.
That can't be right. But it could be. I don't know.
I think there's more games for that than there is the GameCube. But a lot of them are lazy PS2 ports, because technically the original Xbox is about 3 times more powerful than a PS2 in processor and that. But these are just games where they've slapped it off the PS2 onto the Xbox with no, help in it.
It's a shame. I've always wanted to grab myself an original Xbox, but I never got one because I thought, I don't know what to put it in. If I put it upstairs, it might collapse my ceiling.
Oh, they're heavy.
Nah, I've wanted to grab one, but I just never have. I'm hoping now that with the Xbox Series X backwards compatibility stuff starting back up, I'm hoping they get more original Xbox games on there, because I haven't played a lot of original Xbox games because I'd only play around with friends. I played Halo and Halo 2 and that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of other stuff I haven't played, and I would like to, just to experience them for myself.
I mean, I love it for Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, but they're also on PC, aren't they? So
yeah, they are on
Empire's
PC,
good as well.
I haven't played that. About 870 PAL games, Cumberdanes thinks. It's a lot more than I thought. I'll be completely honest. I thought it would have been less, but it's surprising how many games must have come out in that short period of time. But like if they were ports that didn't really do much, then it's more understandable. And they didn't bother porting them to the GameCube because the Nintendo console didn't do very well.
No.
So it's like, why bother? That's probably the thoughts behind it. There's some French exclusives and Australian exclusives and stuff like that, so it gets complicated. I remember watching a video, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was on YouTube, and they were talking about specific games series, and they were like, yeah, this game came out, and it only came out in Europe, and weirdly enough, the sequel to this game, or the next game in the series, came out on Europe only too, but even weirder, it only came out in France, and you're like, what? Why? Like, why a specific region?
Well, no, it's strange. There's a weird thing with the Wii. Can you remember a game that came out about a month after the Wii came out? And I'm probably saying this wrong, but Korinopo.
No, I don't think so.
Basically, it's sort of Marble Madness Monkey Ball game. You take little balls that are either animal faces or marbles, and you take them through mazes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I might be saying it wrong. Cumberdines is bringing the name up in typing. Korinopo, however, it's... That had a sequel in Japan called Korinopo 2. They brought the sequel out in England and called it Marbles Balance Challenge or something. And I'm thinking, why do you have a game that's come out, actually bother bringing out the sequel, but give it a totally different name so that if anyone enjoyed the first one, they've got no idea what this is?
Yeah, that's bloody just odd and very pointless and daft, because if people enjoyed the first game, then the second game they might not really know that is a sequel to it and not bother with it. They go, it's a knock off.
Yeah, I didn't realise at first.
That's mad. I didn't know that. Didn't know that at all, in fact. But yeah, I remember that game. I think I had it. Or I played on a friend who had it. One of the two.
I know it was near the start of the Wii because there was a point where I'd got the Wii and I was desperate for anything new. And you were like just going in every shop looking for something. And I remember I got that and I got Excite Truck, which was quite near the start.
I liked Excite Truck.
Oh, I thought that was great. I'd love a new one of that.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun game, but like I think they released Excite Bots in America, didn't come to Europe, I believe. And I haven't played Excite Bots, but I don't know. That sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, it does.
I think what I was gonna say, I can't remember. Yeah, were you saying you were going around looking for something to buy to have on your new console, your Wii? That's the reason why I got Returnal. I was like, I've got this PlayStation 5. I want something for it that's exclusive to the PS5 and new PS5 game. So I bought Returnal, and it's really good. It's just really fucking hard.
I've heard that.
I'm not very good at it. Cumberdine says, I remember buying Excite Truck, because there was nothing else to buy. Yeah, the Wii did suffer from...
I actually regretted buying my Wii for about the first year.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was only later that I really warmed to it.
Well, that's fair enough.
The funny thing is, I regretted buying my Switch for the first year or so, though.
That's
when I got
surprising,
Hollow Knight. I couldn't put Hollow Knight down, and then I just played loads of other things.
Right, that's fair enough. But I was going to say, I'm surprised, because in the first year you had a new Zelda, a new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There was some new good games there. Surprising that you're like, no, try this.
I had a Wii U, though, from nearly release. Because I wasn't going to get a Wii U, but HMV went into administration, and I got one cheap with Zombie U and Nintendo Land.
I loved Zombie U.
Oh, it's awesome. But I'd been quite heavy into the Wii U, so Mario Kart 8 was boring to me by the time the Switch came out, really. I have got it now, but...
Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, for me, the enjoyment and Mario Kart 8 came from playing it with loads of people from GRcade. On a Monday from 9 till about 10:30. It was just so much fun having a laugh with a lot of people over Discord and playing this game, and then with streaming it as well, you'd have people in chat, and then you'd have bad things happen to you, and then people make clips out of it, and then or laugh at you for being shit. It's great. Cumberdine says, I regretted buying my first 360. I spent nearly a full month's pay on it and was very close to taking it back. Wow. I got my 360 just after Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter came out. If it was a launch title, then it was just after launch. And I borrowed money off my nan to get it, because I was like, can you get it for me and I'll pay you back in 3 installments when I get paid from work. So she was like, yeah, right, Dan. It might have been just one payment, because I think I was owed 2 months pay, because I had to work like 2 months before I was paid. So I was able to pay her straight off, I think, actually. Yeah. And I had Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing that online with a couple of friends as well. So I never regretted it. I don't really regret buying stuff. Even if I end up playing it for a couple of hours, I'm like, oh, okay, I had my fun with it. That's cool. And I'm happy enough then, if that makes, you know? I'm easily pleased, obviously.
My first 360 game is weird. I brought a 360 from Game that was second-hand, that was really badly nicotine stained, and I got Enchanted Arms.
Oh, I've heard that name, but I can't think of what it is.
It's a weird RPG that has got a character who wouldn't fly nowadays because he wouldn't be politically correct. He's a really camp guy that's just got like a stereotypical sort of gay voice that's obviously like offensive. But it was a decent game. It was a long RPG. But it was ages till I got another game. And then I got Oblivion and stuff.
Enchanted Arms is a FromSoft game, is it? People who do Dark Souls. I enjoyed
didn't realise it was them.
Ninja Blade by Ninja Blade is great. You got it in August after it launched. First games were Condemned and Oblivion. I really enjoyed Oblivion. I remember playing Oblivion, and like that sewer moment for me was great, where you walk out of the sewer and into the world, because it was just like, wow, such a fucking change. And that was my first experience of Elder Scrolls. Like, so for me, it was a really good fucking, I don't know, showcase of what's to come.
Yeah.
Condemned. I loved Condemned.
I played Morrowind, but it never gripped me. But Oblivion, yeah, I couldn't leave it alone. I'd got like single playthroughs at 180 hours on it. I love it. I love it even more than Skyrim. I
think Skyrim has like better gameplay, if that makes sense. Like it's a bit more fine-tuned than Oblivion, but Oblivion has better story stuff. Like the guilds, Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, they're all much more interesting, a lot more entertaining. Like all the story stuff is better in Oblivion. I think the gameplay is improved, but for me, I would rather play Oblivion than Skyrim because of that.
Yeah. I wish they would like push Oblivion onto the Skyrim engine, if you know what I mean.
They do. There is people doing mods for things like that. It's like these Morrow Sky for Morrowind and Oblivion Sky or something like that. And there's people doing it online, and it looks amazing. I prefer Skyrim, but the story is bobbins. I agree with the bobbins, but Condemned, as you mentioned it, I played that fairly recently, and I did like a review and stuff for it. And like playing through the game, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first time. Even though I couldn't remember lots of it, didn't like certain things didn't have the same impact. Like the mall section didn't have the same impact as the first playthrough. The first time you play through Condemned is fucking amazing. The second time is not quite as amazing.
Brutally violent though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brutally great though.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes, about 10 minutes left. Should we go back to the Switch? Because that's what we were supposed to have been talking about. Hey, let's do a podcast on the Switch. Okay, let's talk about anything other than the Switch for 50 minutes.
I think the problem is with what they've done, there's so little to really talk about, isn't there?
It is. Like, I think maybe if Doom was here, we would have had a bit better of a chat specifically about the Switch, because I think he would have been more excited for it. Because I know I think he would have. because he seems like quite a positive person when it comes to stuff like that. He's quite a negative person when it comes to people shitting on things for no reason, which is understandable. Like when people start like in things that's like just very negative and miserable and arse-ish about it, but like I wouldn't say either of us are being that way. We just did, I guess underwhelmed is the word, because it's just Oh, sorry,
One of the things sometimes you need different opinions to bounce off. If you both think the same thing, you're both just going to go, rubbish.
Yeah, rubbish. Yeah, the thing is though, is one thing I will say, I do like I usually prefer my consoles black, because I think they look nicer, but I do like the look of that white Switch.
Oh yeah, the white's good.
Yeah. Cumberdanes asks, does Doom use his Switch at work a lot, or did I make that up? You did not make that up. When he works in the evenings, I think he works like in the evening sometimes and in the day sometimes. I think when he does evening work, at night, well, I say evening work, it's like 10 till 10 or something daft like that. And I think as he's up all night, he plays his Switch a lot. So, yeah. Like the other night yesterday after I finished playing Rocket League with Jeff, I jumped on to Pokemon with Doom, and we played Pokemon. But we did Raid Adventures, and we were trying to get Shiny Palkia, and then whatever other shinies, but I didn't get none, and I don't know if Doom did when I left. So, you know, we played that till about 1 o'clock.
You need a lot of patience for that shiny hunting.
It's not so bad in the Dynamax Adventure, because you've got a 1 in 100 chance of getting one, and I've already had a shiny Pokemon from doing it. But if you were to do it normally in the older games, it's like 1 in 8,000 and stuff like that every spawn, so it's ridiculous.
And you always find in the trades you get a lot of hacked modded Pokemon, don't you? That have been hacked to be shiny and to have perfect stats and.
Yeah. I was actually trading on the home app where you just wonder trade. It's like you chuck 10 Pokemon in and you'll get random 10 back. And they had 2 legendary Pokemon. Then I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, okay, they're the same level. The stats are exactly the same. These are definitely hacked. Delete. Well, release. I'm not risking having my stuff banned or whatever. I don't know if Nintendo would ban it, but as a precaution, I would rather not risk it and get rid of the dodgy ones.
They got somebody arrested, didn't they, in Japan for modifying Zelda files?
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was reading a news article and people were basically taking the pee in the comments, going, "Oh, let's not go get rapists. Let's get a guy that's hacked Zelda so you can have whatever sword you want. That's really worth our time."
That's awful. It's just a modding something. That's wrong. Coming in, does he do nighttime stay? Yeah, he basically is. He's a carer, I think. And stays in, so the person he looks after goes to bed. He has to stay up in case there's any reason for him to do anything. I know what that's like because I've done the job myself, but I've never had to stay up. I could go to sleep, so I don't know if Doom does go to sleep or not. Like where I worked, you could go to sleep, and then if you needed, you'd be needed and you'd have to get up, but you know, who knows. I'd have to ask him, but I don't know. But yeah, he definitely plays his Switch a lot in work in the evenings because he can. I wouldn't think he would do it in the day. But yeah, on the Switch front, as we were talking about that just then, I haven't really got much else to say about it. It seems like a minor upgrade where you get a couple of benefits other than the screen.
I want to know, is the dock usable by a normal Switch and vice versa? Because the dock's got a LAN port and stuff, and...
I would assume so, but you just don't know, do you?
No, there's not really been solid information, as far as I can see.
I would make the assumption that you could use the Switch on there, but I don't want to say yes in case I'm wrong and someone buys it thinking they can, and they can't.
Have you ever seen, there's a video on YouTube where somebody like removes parts off a Switch Lite to make it fit in a dock to see if it will output or not?
Oh, do they? I haven't seen that.
And the answer is it won't output. There's something done to it inside to stop it outputting.
Well, like the company says, like you could buy the dock separate and use the LAN port. The good thing is I actually have the Ethernet adapter. I bought it for my Wii, and I used it on my Wii U, and I've used it on my Switch. So for me, you know, that's another benefit that I wouldn't get, because I'm fine with having it connected to that. You know, it doesn't do anything negative, like that I'm aware of.
To answer Cumberdanes, he said that, could you buy the dock separately to use the LAN port? Well, what I was more thinking was, like, obviously, I've got a Switch, the missus has got a Switch, the daughter's got the Switch, so we all will use each other's docks if needed to charge, and I just thought, you know, if somebody in the chain of friends and whatever brought the new one, would you be able to still do that sort of interchangeable dock system?
I would assume yes. I honestly would. I don't think Nintendo would. Well, I can't say that. As I don't think Nintendo would purposely screw over the customers, but they could. I don't think Nintendo do it out of a general "fuck you" kind of thing. I think it's just they do it in. I don't know. They could do. They could be like "fuck you" if you want to have use this new dock. You need a new Switch, and it makes sense. They are a business after all. That's what they're about, making money. Yeah. But it could simply be a simple thing as, well, for these things to work, we needed to put in these ports. And because of that, the other Switch can't work because there's no space. So, but at the same time, again, they're a business, so it could just be, fuck you, buy a new Switch. Cumberdain said, I used to be a sucker for peripherals. I had loads of TAT for 360 and PlayStation 3.
The worst tat was Wii Tat.
Yeah, how dare you besmirch my tennis racket that goes on my Wii remote? It was pretty bad. And I think when the Switch first came out, you could get the same kind of things for that as well, for the Joy-Con.
Yeah,
like a little racket you stick on her and shit like that. It's kind of like, ugh. And there was the steering wheel. I'm pretty sure when it was announced, like, Reggie, I think it was like looking at it, and he was looking at it and say, what the fuck is this shit? We're introducing the wheel for the Nintendo Wii. And he's like, really? Really, Nintendo?
The Wii thing was supposed to be imagination. You're supposed to have this remote stick controller. And the idea was how you held it and what you did with it. You were supposed to imagine you were racing, or so if you need 10 tons of plastic rubbish to like feed your imagination, there's something wrong.
Yeah. And the thing is that the Wii was aimed at like family. So it kind of like defeated the purpose really, because like a lot of kids are going to be playing with it, and kids are going to have like a good imagination anyway. Because they imagine playing certain things. So I don't know. I played Mario Kart exclusively with a wheel. I really liked it. Yeah, but you liked TAT back at the day. You just said that. You were a TAT fanatic. So your opinion don't count. Yeah, I could be a bitch. I think that's us gonna wrap up then, as we have been live for over an hour. Of course, you know, hopefully we'll be back with another Twitchcast, whether it'll be a full-size one or a mini will be dependent on the day, what the topics will be. Obviously, we do a mini when we want to talk about one subject, even though we have kind of talked about a lot more there, but otherwise, otherwise, if there's a lot of subjects, it probably will be a normal one, because, you know, they can last like 3 hours, which I think would be a good idea to get one of them soon. But also, it'd be nice to talk about, I would like to do a Twitchcast Mini. Instead of a console, I would like to do it about a specific game. Like, do another one next, say, Wednesday, as an example. And by Wednesday, everyone who's going to take part at 9 PM or 8 PM or whatever, for an hour, will all have played this specific game for an hour or two, or however long they want, and then talk about it. You can't really go wrong. It's like, hey, next week we're going to talk about House of the Dead, and then we'll play it and talk about it. And I said House of the Dead because Cumberdane's mentioned House of the Dead, the House of the Dead revolver. See? Right. Anyway, I'm rambling on you. I'm going to say goodbye. And
Right.
Kerr also said goodbye. Is Kerr9000 this week's guest? Funnily enough, no. Kerr is not a guest, because Kerr has been a part of the GRcade podcasts before, and Kerr has said, Kerr could say himself, like I'm talking for him right now, but he said he's more able to take part in minis because they don't last as long as the longer podcasts. So that would be more viable for him to take part in.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you everyone who's listened. Thank you for popping in. And last but not least, check out GRcade video on YouTube, at GRcade on Twitter, GRcade on Facebook, GRcade UK on TikTok now, and grcade.co.uk. And with that, goodbye.
Bye.